Morning and welcome to day 30 of my Veganuary experience. Just 2 days to go. Can't believe how quickly it has whizzed by, the old month of January. I think it's a sign of getting old, that the weeks and months just seem to whiz by and the years just seem to whiz by. Thoughts start turning into your mortality, and perhaps that's part of the motivation behind why I decided to try out Veganuary. Adding to my discussion yesterday about what I should do with all of this meat we've got in our freezer. So I think I'm now committed that I don't want any animal to suffer or die just to feed me, and that's just not something that needs to happen. Obviously, in addition to that, I absolutely embrace the health benefits of not eating meat. So, as I say, that's why I've made this decision to look at just eating up the meat that we've got. And do that by following the planet diet. So, and it would just be an interesting experience, I think, to just see what that's like. And whilst there's evidence in both ways about the planet diet, lots of people saying, oh, it's, not sustainable, and certainly countries that are developing couldn't manage things like that. I guess I'm really thinking, well, if the whole world turned to an omnivorous Western diet, then I think we really are in a mess. That's just completely and utterly unsustainable. And I'd dearly love somebody to come up with evidence that says, oh yes, we can all eat like the Americans. Really. So, or maybe I'm generalising there, but I think from anybody I've ever spoken that's gone to America, and they said, oh yeah, you go to these diners and you ask for a steak and, half a cow turns up on your plate and things like that, and they celebrate that fact. They just think that's marvellous. And then I'm going, yeah. Right, is that totally sustainable? Can the whole world eat like that? Now I know that in reality the whole world will never eat like that, because there are some countries that are just so impoverished that they will never eat like that. But if you look at what's happening in places like China with the rise of the middle class, particularly because of the amount of money that we spend in terms of trade with China, the goods that we buy from there. I think I mentioned in an early video, that every time you buy a TV from China, you're contributing to the rise of the middle class. And that means that those people will then start themselves to consume more and use up more of the world's valuable resources. I'm a big recycler. I have only ever bought 3 televisions in the whole of my life. I'm sorry, we're going a bit off tangent here. 3 TVs in the whole of my life. And one was an old CRT television, and I think that must have lasted a very long time. So probably 10, 15 years, maybe as long as that. It was a very, very long time. It's the first TV we ever bought when we moved into the first house that we ever bought. We then bought a Philips TV, and that was our first flat screen TV, and lo and behold, it still works. And I use its computer monitor. I've been watching Serpent ZA on YouTube. Follow his channel if you want to know what's going on in China. Very, very interesting guy. Very interesting guy. It's very inspirational in terms of actually if you really want to know what's going on in China, watch Serpent ZA. Anyway, so I am really gone off tangent now. And then in the house that we're currently in, I decided to buy a bigger flat screen TV, and so I'm not entirely sure where that came from in terms of its manufacturer, but the point is that other than the CRT, which I think we just superseded it, it was getting to a stage where it was probably going to fail, and repairing CRT TVs is fairly tricky. You've really got to know what you're doing. Whereas repairing LCD TVs, on the other hand, is not that hard. And in fact, I would say that other than people smashing the screens, there is one thing that causes them to fail, and that's the capacitors on the standby power supply. I won't go into now what that is, but if you want to know more, then please do get in contact. And that's a really easy fix. And in fact, I tell a story of we had some friends who used to live in the village, and they didn't believe that I could fix an LCD TV for like 50 pence worth of parts. I said, not possible. Didn't believe me. So I said, go to the tip and somehow manage to acquire yourself a TV, ideally one with a remote, and bring it round, and we'll see how we get on. So that's what I did one Sunday, and they excitedly brought it round, kind of thing, took it into the workshop, immediately realised it's exactly that fault. It was standby power supply capacitors. Half an hour later, I'd replaced them. I keep a stock of the typical sizes and values in, and lo and behold, the TV powered up, and I brightened the place in their kitchen. That was a free TV, and more importantly, that saved that TV going into recycling, which, whilst they can recycle a lot of the stuff in there, and a lot of energy has to be used for that, and it stopped them going out and buying a TV. I guess they could have bought a second-hand TV, fully accept that, and we just don't do that now. We're not conditioned to do that, partly because now it's just cheaper to go and buy a new TV. You want more latest features, especially with the advent of smart TVs, etc., etc. Now, the most expensive TV we've got isn't actually a TV, it's just a very large LCD monitor that runs off a home cinema type amplifier system. And to protect the power supply on the TV, it's actually powered through a very clever multi-plug system that you can, when you switch the amplifier on, the plug system senses that the amplifier's been switched on and powers up the other plugs, and one of those plugs feeds the TV. So that then protects the TV and the capacitors in the TV. Don't know why more people don't do that. I guess they just don't even understand that's an issue. And the other problem is that TV repair people are becoming very thin on the ground. I used to be part of a forum for TV engineers, and they were very thin on the ground, and they were struggling to stay in business, really, because just nobody wanted the TVs fixing. LCD TVs are really cheap. So I've gone way off subject here, but I suppose it comes down to the fact it's about having a lifestyle that minimises the Earth's resources that you use, and veganism is clearly a key part of that. And you could be a great vegan, but then you could be burning through loads of the Earth's resources in lots and lots of other ways. And we need to think of the whole picture, I think, is really where my standpoint is on this. Hope some of you get that. Be interested to understand how we can lead lives that have an even lower impact on the planet than even a vegan lifestyle does. So if you've done Veganuary, well done. 2 more days to go. I hope it's been good for you. If you haven't done Veganuary, you don't need to have a made-up PR title like Veganuary for you to decide to investigate a plant-based diet and start down that route. Please do seriously consider it. I have got a lot from it, and I'm sure you can, with all the usual caveats about being careful about making major changes to your diet if you've got health conditions, and without first seeking advice from your doctor if required. So, but yeah, go for it. So my last video will be tomorrow, and I'm going to talk on probably the subject of rescue hen eggs. Okay, we'll talk tomorrow. Take care, bye.